There is a lot of doom and gloom out there at the moment about Pattaya, Thailand. It's quiet, it's the lowest low season anybody's ever known. I've been here now for 17 years working here in Pattaya, and I do remember the low season of 2008 when it was extremely low and probably worse than this, and you also had virtually no high season after that as well. So things are bad here, although I have to say my bar, Rum Runner on Soyber Cow, just by the S-Bend, open at 3 p.m. till 11, is doing okay. We're doing really well. We've had a good launch, and thank you to everyone that's seen me there. But I've noticed as I'm browsing through social media, another place that seems to be doing really, really badly these days. Las Vegas. No, not the beer bar complex, not the disco. Las Vegas, Nevada. It's an adult playground. It's for adrenaline and fun and entertainment, and it's kind of same as Pattaya really, but I've been noticing posts from people saying how dead the strip is in Las Vegas and how things are looking really bad. Now, I've only been to Las Vegas once. That was in 2002, I think it was. So I can't really talk on the ground about Las Vegas itself, but going by social media, it looks like, yeah, things are pretty bad there. So is there a correlation? Pattaya and Las Vegas, two towns built on tourism, entertainment, adrenaline and excitement, are both doing really badly. Let's take a look. Well, while both of these cities rely on tourism, the tourism is very, very different. Here in Pattaya, it's all about people from other countries. Hello! People like China, Russia, Malaysia, India, and in America, in Las Vegas, it's more about domestic tourism. People going for weekends and for conferences. Vegas started off with a really healthy bounce back after the pandemic, but with rising costs and inflation for domestic tourists in America, at the fall of 2023, reports were that Vegas was beginning to drop off. Hotels were not full, and the casinos were seeing a lot less people at the tables. Some of the reasons given were the fact that younger people who have got more disposable income aren't really into gambling and aren't really into cabaret shows. They're into more of an adventure, Instagrammable things that they can do. They wanted to do different things from their parents and their grandparents, and so Vegas had a bit of a sort of a fuddy-duddy image. Chinese tourists didn't really want to come back quickly to Pattaya. They were concerned about health issues. Russians had problems, of course, of their own with issues about the war. And inflation and rising costs, both at home and here in Thailand, saw a lot of Western visitors stay away. You hear a lot of stories of Western visitors turning to other Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam and the Philippines that are perceived to be a lot cheaper and, to be honest, have a more friendlier and a welcoming smile. Thailand is the land of smiles. People were saying it was a thing of the past. So what are these two cities that are based on tourism, adrenaline, adventure, doing about this drop in tourism? Well, in Vegas, of course, they're doing things like the Sphere, that amazing globe of light opened by U2. They've got a Formula One race. They've got long residencies for artists that young people like Adele and other things as well. And here in Pattaya, you see all these new kind of Instagrammable places coming up, like this place. This is the Fisherman's Village. It's about a 2-minute walk away from where I live, and it's basically a complete village which has been built to look like a quaint, old-fashioned village where people can go and eat, and they can go on a boat and they can take photos. And what is the irony of the fact that that's what Pattaya used to be like 40 years ago? everything comes around. Other things are happening as well. Of course, there's places like Terminal 21, new shopping malls coming up, and down at Bali High, something proposed that's very interesting. Just yards away from the famous Pattaya sign, they are looking at building something truly amazing. According to the Nation newspaper, 1 kilometre out into the bay, there is a plan to build a massive new cruise ship terminal. It will be able to handle up to 4,500 passengers an hour. It will be able to handle 2 ships, cruise ships, big ones, 450 metres each, and there will be thousands and thousands of people streaming here into Bali High, Pattaya. There's huge plans to redevelop Bali High, but where have we heard all this before? We've heard about a cruise ship terminal before, but they realised that the water was too shallow. I'm old enough, and I've been coming here to Pattaya long enough to remember when the cruise ship, when the US naval ships used to drop anchor about 1 kilometre, 2 kilometres out, and then little small boats used to come in to where is now the Pattaya Beer Garden with all those randy American sailors ready to do their business here in Pattaya, right? But the ship was out nearly 2 kilometres, and that is the biggest reason why there's never been a cruise terminal here. But they have plans. Nearly 26 billion baht will be spent on developing it, and 1.5 billion baht to try and keep it going. But let's have a look at Bali High. I've made a video about this. Things here in Bali High never ever seem to go to plan. I think there's a curse. This building, the ghost building, has been here for, well, nearly 12 years now, standing empty. The famous car park over there, the automated car park that doesn't work. Nothing seems to go right here in Bali High, and it will be very interesting to see if that ever happens. And even if it does, cruise ship passengers go on a cruise because they can take advantage of the all-you-can-eat buffets. They have special deals where they can drink themselves stupid. They can gamble on the cruise ships. When they come to port, they've got a name for not really spending a lot of money. So will it really make much difference? I want to give you an example of something that happened to me when I went to Texas last year on holiday, a brilliant vacation. I really enjoyed myself. I stayed in about 4 different hotels, but because I'm a foreigner and I didn't have an American bank account, or in fact a credit card, only a debit card, when I checked into a hotel, I was told that I had to give a security deposit because of damages to the hotel room, theft. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that, no problem. $250. Okay, could I pay with cash? No, I couldn't. The hotels don't handle cash anymore, it's all online payments. Okay, so I did an online payment from my debit card, my Thai Bangkok Bank debit card, to the hotel, and I asked how long would it be for that transaction to be reversed, and they told me 5 weeks. 5 weeks. And that was for 4 different hotels. So I paid out $250 in each hotel. That's money that I would probably have spent in Texas itself. But because I had to wait all that time for that money to come back, I didn't bother spending it. I hadn't really got that huge sort of money in the bank. And in fact, the hotels weren't lying, because it took about 5 weeks. 5 weeks for that money to come back. What is happening? I know people that send money from America to my bank account here in Thailand, and it takes seconds. 5 weeks seemed a bit of a rip-off. So when I had the chance to go to Vegas this year for a conference in April, I said, no, I think I'll spend my money somewhere else. So what about the people that watch my channel, Misteregg Thailand, people who like the naughty nightlife, that come predominantly from Western countries? What's the future hold for Pattaya? What's going to happen? Well, I've got to be honest, the locals here, the Tourist Authority of Thailand, are more concerned about getting people who live more local. People like from Malaysia, from China, from Russia, and yes, from India. That's why, for example, Indian people were given no visa status, no visa exemption status, and I'm sure it's going to be in the comments. We hear it all the time about Indians being all over Walking Street and certain parts of this town. It would be great if the 60-day visa was made permanent for people in Western countries by the government. I do remember when they actually announced that it was a temporary measure because it was 30 days, then it went to 60 days. I do remember, I'm so old, I remember the days when you used to have to go down to Queen Vic on Soy 6 at about 5 o'clock in the morning, have a big breakfast. It was very nice, right? Get on a minibus, go all the way to Cambodia at a ridiculously breakneck speed, walk over a bridge, get your passport stamped into Cambodia, in and out, back every single 30 days if you wanted to work it. Things have changed dramatically here now. People also talk about the exchange rate. The exchange rate is so bad. Why is Thailand strengthen the baht? I'm no economic genius, right? In fact, you know, I've got a go-go bar on Soi Buakhao. That's how brilliant I am, right? But I do know Thailand here has a thriving economy. It's not perfect, but it's doing well. It has agriculture, it has tourism, it has manufacturing. All of those things mean that they deal with outside currencies, especially if they export a lot of the agriculture, which means that a strong baht isn't something that Thailand wants. But the American dollar, the euro, the Australian dollar, the British pound are all lower because your economies are really not keeping up with that of the economies of Southeast Asia. So rather than blaming Thailand for the exchange rate, how about blaming your own government for the fact that, as Harold Macmillan said, the pound in your pocket is not worth as much as it used to. So what do you think? Do you think that the problems that we're having here in Pattaya with lower tourism are a worldwide thing, and that the things that are happening in Las Vegas is no coincidence, or do you think the two are completely different with two completely different sets of issues? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm looking forward to seeing the comments on this one. Thank you for watching. Don't forget you can see me every day at my new bar, Rum Runner. It's on Soi Buakhao, just by the S Bend there. We open at 3 p.m. We're not open late. We're open from 3 p.m. in the afternoon until 11 p.m. We've got some great looking staff. We've got some great dancers. We've got a happy hour until 10 o'clock. Yeah, I've gone into a bit of a commercial, haven't I? But come down and see me and we'll talk about it a little bit further. But for me, Misteregg here in Pattaya, Thailand. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.